guys, welcome back to another video. This one is a bit different. I am really excited because I'm finally getting rid of my Ikea desk. I have been wanting to upgrade this for so long now, but I am a hoarder. I can't let go of it. It's been serving me for the last 5 years. So I thought it'd be a good idea to just do a makeover with reused materials because I use this as a challenge for myself, and also it's really good for the planet and for our pocket because I didn't spend a single penny. Well, as of right now, because maybe it won't work out and then I'll have to buy more stuff, but we'll see. So I went around yesterday and found some houses that were doing renovations and asked around to see if they had any leftover wood, and they were happy to give me, so I got that wood. I'm gonna sand it down and leave it nice, and I've also got some for my dad that he just bought to build some stuff, and there was some leftovers as well. I went through Pinterest before actually deciding what I wanted to do, and like every great architect, I'm gonna do some sketches first to see what pieces I'm gonna need and to plan ahead. So this is more or less how it's gonna look like. These are the pieces that I'm gonna need, and on this drawing I can kind of work out which kind of joint I'm gonna use with my wood. And I'll also be sanding down and painting the table white. So we'll see how that works out, and yeah, let's get started. So just a disclaimer, I'm not a professional woodworker, and most of the things you'll see in this video I learned how to do from my dad yesterday, so I'm not giving any advice on how to handle machines or materials. The measures I give here will only work for the 60 by 120 Ikea desks, so I started by unassembling the desk and will be reusing the tabletop. Out of all the wood that I got, I separated the ones that were similar in thickness and size that I needed, and some looked pretty dirty, but after removing all of the little bits and screws, I think they look alright actually. I decided to sand some pieces down beforehand to see if there were any parts of the wood that were moldy or unusable that I would need to dispose of. Sanding all that dirty wood was actually so satisfying, and it made me realize how great wood is because it was really dirty and it looked like I wouldn't be able to use it. But in the end of the day, after I cut all of the bits that were like too damaged along with all the edges to make them perfectly straight, they were like brand new. So I'm gonna start by cutting the four legs at 72 centimeters. Do use a T-ruler to keep all your lines and cuts as straight as possible. Also, when using a miter saw, check which side of the line the saw will cut on, because the blade has a thickness that will be lost in the material, so you need to keep that in mind. So I cut all the four legs and then sanded them down a little bit more to make all of the edges soft to the touch, so it wouldn't get hurt, and also to make the details a bit more well finished. Now we're going to need 4 connecting pieces, which will be cut at 44 centimeters. Again, I'm using a T-ruler to make sure the cut is straight, and then after cutting them, sand the edges down a little bit to make sure they're round and soft. We'll also need 2 long pieces that will go under the length of the tabletop, which will cut at 98 centimeters. Again, I'm sanding them down and removed all of the pencil marks that I marked wrong by just sanding it a little bit more. Now it's time to think about the joints. I decided to use pocket holes, and for that I needed this tool that guides the drill end to make the holes. And until this morning I didn't even know this existed, but I think I managed pretty well. Make the holes on the same side at both ends of each piece. And then each leg will go with one connecting piece. And all we need to do now is just screw them together. To do that, I'll need some special decking screws for the pocket holes. And before actually screwing both pieces together, I used a clamp to make sure that the pieces were secure and that they wouldn't move as I'm working. I checked if the corners are square or else the table won't be stable. And it was just slightly off, but honestly, I think once we connect everything together, it will be fine. But if it's way too off, you will need to make it straight by sanding it or really just cutting another piece altogether. And then after you screw both pieces together, just repeat it with all legs and all connecting pieces until you get 4 L-shaped pieces, I guess. Now we're going to connect 2 of those pieces together. And you'll end up with 2 wooden frames that will go on each side of the table. And those will be the legs. Again, I'm checking if the corners are square. This is really quite important. Now that I was sure everything would probably work out fine, I decided to prime the IKEA tabletop. I sanded the corners before I primed them just to make them slightly softer and rounder, and then coated it with some white wood primer. After that dried, I applied a second coat, even though I quite liked the distressed look of just one coat. My dad said it would look much better just white. So I followed the advice, and after the second coat dried, I followed on with some satin finish white paint. After a couple hours, I tried putting the pieces together temporarily just to see if all was okay. And honestly, I really liked how it was looking so far. So now it's time to figure out how to connect both end pieces with the longer connecting pieces. And I just wanted to see if one piece at the bottom would look nice, but I guess I'll just follow the initial plan and keep both pieces at the top hidden under the table. So, of course, I forgot to use glue in all of the other pieces, but really, you should use glue everywhere. I think it'll still be fine though. We'll probably see in a couple months. So, I applied the glue and realized that my clamps were way too short for the middle pieces, and so I had to hold it with my leg, I guess. It would have been easier to ask for help, but oh well, independence, they say, right? And in the end, it worked. So just wipe off the excess glue and repeat it on the other side with the other connecting piece. So you're going to end up with 2 pieces that are exactly the same, and now we just need to connect both together. I applied some glue to the other side and connected it to the other piece. This was a bit of a pain to do alone, so definitely get help from an extra pair of hands if you can. But if not, I managed it, and so can you. Everything will most likely be fine. It will just be a little bit more time consuming. Hooray! I finally got the frame done, and I just decided to coat it with some transparent matte finish wood varnish, just as an extra protection against UV rays and scratches, etc. But this is entirely optional. The whole making process took 3 days in total because I did not know how to use the tools and I needed to learn all of the health and safety procedures with each one. But after everything, I'm really happy with the result, and even if I had bought everything to make this, it would have still been around £25, which is really quite cheap for a desk like this. And I wish I would have somehow kept the pocket holes facing the floor so they wouldn't be visible, but that's not a big deal. I ended up just placing the tabletop on the structure, but I will be fixing it down with some small L plates on the inside of the structure, but that will be very useful for unassembling when moving homes or rooms. It still looks fine, and I'm absolutely in love with this desk. I did not believe I could do it, but I did it, and it's beautiful. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like this video, please give me a like and also hit the subscribe button. Stick around. My next video will be a full makeover of my entire room, and that is going to be very exciting. You do not want to miss it. And I guess I'll see you then. Till next time. Bye.